We have this next question. A boat is moving directly away from a gun on the shore with a speed v1. The gun fires a shell with a speed v2 at an angle of elevation alpha and hits the boat. So we have to find out these four things. First of all, it means if this is the gun G and it fires a shell with the velocity v2, and let us suppose this is boat B and it is moving with the velocity v1. The angle of elevation projection we can say is alpha. So first what we are going to do, we are going to find out what will be the time of flight of the shot. First will be what will be the time of flight of the shell. Let us suppose it is denoted by t, which will be equal to 2v2 sine alpha divided by g. Now the velocity of shell is v2, so we can divide it into two components, v2 and this is alpha. So one component will be coming as v2 cos of alpha and second component will be coming as v2 sine of alpha. So we can say the horizontal velocity of the shell is v2 cos alpha and the boat is also traveling horizontally with the velocity v1. So the relative velocity of the shot with respect to boat, you can write relative velocity of shell with respect to boat is equal to v2 cos of alpha minus v1. Okay. So first we are going to find out the distance of the boat from the gun at the moment it is fired is given by this formula. So we have to prove it. So we know the distance of the boat when fired will be equal to relative velocity v2 cos of alpha minus v1 multiplied by time t, and t we already know is given by 2v2 sine of alpha divided by g. So we get v2 cos of alpha minus v1 multiplied by time, that is 2v2 sine of alpha divided by g. So this proves our first part. In the second part, we are going to find that the boat travels a distance of this from its original position. So we are going to find out how much distance is traveled by the boat when the shot is fired. So initially let us assume that boat is at position B when the shot is fired. So the moment the shell travels, the time of flight of this shell is t. So within time t, let us suppose it travels this much distance b prime. So we are going to find out the distance between point B and B prime for the time t with the velocity v1. It is traveling in this direction. We can say distance traveled by the boat, distance traveled by boat in time t will be equal to v1 multiplied by t. T already we know, so we can write this as twice v1 v2 sine of alpha divided by g. So this proves our second part. For the third part, it states that the shell hits the boat when the time equal to has elapsed. So we already find out that third part, time elapsed is nothing but is equal to time of flight. Time of flight. So we can write this as time of flight is given by 2 v2 sine alpha divided by g. So this proves the third part. And the last, it is asked that the distance of the boat from the cannon when shell hits the boat is given by this formula. So distance it will be given as the horizontal component v2 cos of alpha multiplied by t. So t already we know that, so we can write this v2 cos of alpha multiplied by twice v2 sine of alpha divided by g. So this proves our fourth part. Thank you.